Salutations, everybody. It is Matty here today. Hope you're all doing absolutely excellent. Let's talk about that state of play. For me, if I were to put this one into a nutshell, single phrase to define it all, it would simply be Saved by the Bell. There are definitely some random weird ones throughout this all, like, what, Deus Ex Remaster? Where did that one come from? Dynasty Warriors 3 Remastered? Like, what? Who was asking for this, man? Where did this come from? Like, there are those random ones. Let It Die's back. Okay. Some really strange ones in here. Overall, on the whole, there's parts of it where I was like pretty middling, you know, like, oh, Battlefield 6 campaign. Okay, whatever. Like, I already knew how I felt about this one. There are definitely just some whatever moments in it all. But to me, as someone who was coasting through it, just kind of lukewarm on the whole thing, I texted my friend right as it was about to happen. I said, if they show off Wolverine, I'll be good to go. And lo and behold, my man Logan shows up. This game looks absolutely brutal. I am so stoked. I had no real doubt in Insomniac, but there were some nasty rumors surrounding this game. Like, we saw high-profile people exiting the team, director, creative director, like those types of positions being vacated. The game fully leaked at one point. It just seemed like it was not in a good spot, despite the pedigree that Insomniac has created for themselves. So, of course, still like mildly skeptical, but I'm really hoping they pulled it off. And in a lot of ways, like, I look at when Insomniac started working on Spider-Man, I said, please use Spider-Man 2 and Shattered Dimensions as the touchstones. Like, all the suits and then all of the great stuff from Spider-Man 2. Evolve all of that and give us more Peter Parker. And they did exactly that. You can find episodes of me on the Ham Radio podcast literally begging for that exact thing they gave us. For Wolverine, the request was much more simple. A bigger, more open, less movie-driven version of this game here. X-Men Origins Wolverine is awesome. We made a whole retrospective about it on Retro Rebound when Deadpool and Wolverine was coming out. I love that game so much. And basically, we're getting next-gen version of that. It looks awesome. So we'll talk about that. But yeah, Saved by the Bell was the final game of the show. It was a strong showing, and it wasn't exactly like the Marvel Token Souls from the last State of Play where it was like the exclamation point. It was more like the period, if you will. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about the State of Play. Keen to get your thoughts down below, as I have not read how people feel about this one, because that's how I like to record my reactions to these showcases, just so you can get my genuine thoughts on everything. Okay, so Saros opens things up. I've not played Returnal yet, to be honest with you all. Now, I say that to just preface it all in that I don't really feel strongly one way or another. I think Returnal looks great. The only reason I haven't played it is because when it launched, there were tech issues that involved like losing your runs, and that scared me off of it because I did not want to risk losing my runs in those types of games, especially with how hardcore Returnal was, which I was very down for. And then as someone who reviews and plays a lot of things, you just get carried away in one direction and the window of opportunity is missed, and you don't really regret it all the way until here we are, basically a sequel to that shows up, a successor to that. Saros looks like more Returnal, and given that the gameplay pillars of Returnal were strong, that's awesome. I can also see a world though where, hey, it's been 5 years since we played Returnal, and Saros is coming out March 20th, 2026, and it looks like more Returnal, and maybe some people were expecting more. It looks quality, looks enjoyable, but again, I can also see a world where people are underwhelmed. Again, this is why I don't like to just take in everyone's opinions as I'm forming my own from the showcase, because I feel it becomes too inauthentic. So I apologize if this is a bit of a middle of the road take, but yeah, I didn't see anything particularly offensive about the game. Looked really solid in terms of gameplay, but also, will I feel the same if I play through all of Returnal and go, oh, it's just more of that? I don't know. Zero Parades is up next. I would say do your research on this one, because it's from the developers of Disco Elysium, asterisk, because it's really not. Like, they'll claim it in the trailers, but it's not. The whole Disco Elysium team, all of them, left or were kicked out, forced out even. It was a massive legal dispute. It was really ugly, and it is one of those situations that it kind of reminds me of like Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain, where to talk about that game, you also have to mention what happened to Kojima and his team. Like, you just have to be like on the record, hey, know what happened before you talk about the game. And so in talking about that, just keep in mind that if you want to support the actual developers of Disco Elysium, there are multiple games out there from those respective teams that you can do so with. But when it comes to Zero Parades, just looking at the game as a whole, trailer, and dissecting my thoughts on it, it's coming 2026. And hey, like, as someone who's very interested in finally playing Disco Elysium, I'm aiming at this December. We'll see how that goes, but it's looking to be my holiday game. I've marked it on the calendar just a couple weeks ago. I was like, I think this is the one. I've held off for so long, but this is the one. So as someone who's really interested in that and has heard nothing but like high, like 10 out of 10 praise for it, seeing more of that style game does pique my interest. But I also know I can get that from the original developers elsewhere. So I'll be keeping my eye on that first. But Zero Parade's kind of mind-screwy style game. The art style looks really solid. Like, there's a lot to be interested about with this one, I admit. So moving along, we have Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. This is coming out December 8th, 2025. And yeah, Xbox Game Studios making their presence felt on the PlayStation stage. And so there's going to be PSVR 2 support at some point down the line. I will say I had some thoughts about when Microsoft Flight Simulator was first announced with that name because, yeah, it looks weird seeing 2024 game coming out 2025, but 2024 is in the actual title itself. It's just a nitpick at the end of the day, but yeah, this game went through a bumpy ride at its launch, pardon the pun. It seems to have recovered decently, but a lot of people at first were like saying, hey, just go back to the original Microsoft Flight Simulator because this is unacceptable. Lots of refunds were issued. Like, it was a pretty disastrous launch, so I'm hoping for PlayStation fans, they get the more smooth flight, we'll say. Moving along, Battlefield 6 campaign trailer looks solid enough. I know definitely in light of what's happening with Call of Duty, looks more than solid to many of us. For me, I'm more interested in Battlefield 6 for its multiplayer, but that's coming out October 10th, so not much longer to wait now. Deus Ex Remastered. This is the first, like, hey, let's pause, talk about it type of moment. Wow, where the hell did this one come from? Just right away, I went, what? Deus Ex? That is awesome, though. I've been really tossed around the idea of playing this as well because I've been going through some older games that I missed this year in the sort of downtime in review season, in particular this summer. And I played System Shock 2, which I loved, by the way. But Deus Ex was up next. And it's funny because I got swept into a couple of reviews when I was just about to start it. And I guess I'm kind of glad. And I don't know if I should be glad or not. I'm waiting because now my decision's tough. It's Aspire. Aspire remasters can get dicey in performance. If we saw anything with the Classic Collection or how they recently just got nabbed with having AI dubbed voices for the French voice actress of Lara Croft, and they had to remove that in a recent hotfix. Like, yeah, they do some shady, dodgy stuff, and they don't have the best reputation, but also the visuals look kind of nice, and the overall controls sound great, but this is also a best played with mouse and keyboard style game. So I've been talking with my people. Dan, our editor, is a big Deus Ex guy. Gonna get his thoughts and feelings. Lockmore's a big Deus Ex guy. Gonna check in on him. Talking with my friend Jason at Atari. Gonna get a feel for that. And then make my decision. Do I play sooner rather than later? Anyway, that's coming out February 5th, so not too far, all things considered. Halloween, the game's up next. I have no real strong feelings about IllFonic games, especially these kind of horror-driven ones. Not because they're bad or anything, but just never really was into these asymmetric multiplayer games ever, to be frank with you. So no strong take on this one from your boy, but this is coming out September 8th, 2026. It's a horror sandbox style game and looked inoffensive to me personally. Last Epoch, it's another kind of Diablo style, Path of Exile style game that's coming to PS5 alongside the Oribus expansion, which will be dropping with that PS5 release. So that was their kind of big announcement of the showcase. But yeah, it's finally coming to consoles. Seven Deadly Sins Origin looks solid, but once you find out, at least in my case, it's that kind of Genshin Impact style game, like free-to-play open world with a lot of elements that you have to pay for, you know, loses a lot of my excitement. It's the Matty kryptonite, if you will. But that's coming out January 28th next year if you are interested. Sonic Racing Crossroads is getting Mega Man DLC. This one did leak because of the street copies having the Mega Man logo on the pamphlets for the upcoming DLC. It's Mega Man, it's Proto Man, it's next year with a Dr. Wily Castle track. We just put up a comparison video between this game and Mario Kart, and I love Sonic Racing, man. Like, I gotta say, this game is not just good, but great. And I do think in many ways it beats out Mario Kart, which is pretty crazy to say. But it's not just the crossover energy, like just genuine mechanics and content out of the box. Like, this game rules, dude. And so even if you're not a big Sonic fan and you just like kart racers, like, it's up there, dude. Give it a shot. Look into it. Try the demo. Like, it's really good. But I love Mega Man. Mildly disappointed this is an X. You know, hurts my soul a little bit. But nonetheless, excited to see the Blue Bomber making his presence felt somewhere, somehow. Koei Tecmo shows up. One expected kind of announcement, the other not expected. Neo 3, dropping February 6th, 2026. Okay, first, English voice acting in this trailer. No. But do I play Neo for that stuff? Absolutely not. I play Neo for incredible boss fights, incredible build crafting, fun worlds to explore, and that looks like what I'm getting here. Looked at definitely a little bit on the technical front, rough around the edges, but Otherwise, man, I think Nioh 2 is one of the best Souls-like games. Like, I know there's a lot of fatigue for this genre, but I do think Nioh's providing some of the highest quality stuff in that genre. It's like up there with Lies of P and of course From Software. Like, it's really that good. So yeah, Nioh 3 coming out February 6th. I'll be there day one. February is definitely going to kill me though. Then they announced Dynasty Warriors 3 Complete Edition Remastered. And look, I am a Muso guy. Like, a lot of people are always surprised when I talk about this, but if you want to know my quiet guilty pleasure game, which is not really much of a guilty pleasure, but just the one that I don't make content about, but I do play the genre frequently, it is Muso style games. I love these games. The Warriors games, Samurai Warriors 2, Empires is one of my favorites. I love Warriors All-Stars because of just the iconic screenshots that you can get from that game. I get a kick out of these games, man. They're so much fun. Fire Emblem Warriors is like my favorite IP tie-in style Warriors game. Like, Dynasty Warriors Strike Force is awesome. So I feel like I'm pretty fluent in this genre where I can say, I don't know anything about Dynasty Warriors 3 where they decided to just yank this one up and go, okay, complete edition, remaster it. March 19th next year. What? Like, this is so weird. Who was that? This is literally the definition. Who was asking for this? I mean, I'm happy to see it because Dynasty Warriors earlier this year, Origin, was really good. So I'm just really... Dynasty Warriors, like, Muso community, educate me. I need help on this one. So I'm just like, was anyone asking for this? Fill me in, for real. Like, is this considered the best one? I've played all these games. I don't have strong memories of Dynasty Warriors 3, so fill me in, please. Code Vein 2, January 30th next year, with all due respect, all right? Because I don't like to just be whatever about, you know, games that have been years in development unless they're truly bad and offensive. But yeah, like, there's no worse feeling than when a trailer doesn't move you at all. Like, it's one thing to be angry about something or happy about something, but to just not feel anything at all, that's Code Vein 2 for me, unfortunately. So, not much to be said there. Let It Die Inferno. I remember there was a lot of conversation about Let It Die when it first came around, but Let It Die Inferno is on December 3rd, 2025. Crazy to see this one back. Really, really crazy. But I remember this had a lot of interesting elements, and this has got like survival elements and PvE elements and like a lot of genre bending within it. So yeah, just a really kooky, crazy game. But I really want to get into this next one because this is one of the highlights of the show for me, and that's Chronoscript: The Endless End. Japan, I love you. Please never change. That would a name. Chronoscript: The Endless End. I love it. But it's about a tale that never ends. But I love when the art style is harmonious with a narrative. And this is about like a story, and you're playing in a book, and you're seeing like the papers fly off the table and drop to the floor in the middle of boss fights. And it's very Metroidvania-like, but it's about exploring this endless story and finding that ending. And I love deep philosophical things like that. So this looked really great. We got Crimson Desert release date again, delayed until March 19th, 2026. I'm still a believer, man. I believe in this one. I don't want to give up until it's there and in my hands and playing it. It definitely lacks a bit of an identity because it pulls from so many different things, but also that's what makes it cool. There's so much different, like, there's riding dragons, there's mechs that you're flying in the air, there's a gigantic open world, there's really ridiculous action combat, there's wars, there's Assassin's Creed elements, there's Dragon's Dogma elements. Like, this game is absolutely insane. It definitely is the definition of a blender game, but nonetheless, I believe this is a real game and it will come out one day, hopefully soon. Texture quality on characters look like it took a bit of a hit, so I wonder if now we're starting to see some of the technical concessions with that gigantic open world versus what's within it. Time will tell. Okay, here's another weird one. Don't know who's asking for this, but PlayStation's continuing on this hardware lineup. Wireless desktop speakers. And, I mean, I have a set of Logitech ones right next to me. I mean, they're great. Like, highly recommend getting some desktop speakers when your headset's not on. It's good stuff. PlayStation ones. This is in that kind of Apple moment where we're seeing them do like the headphones and all these different accessories. Like, they got something going on here, and it's definitely laughable each time. But then I see the sales figures for some of them and I go, well, why wouldn't they keep going? So it's getting more difficult for me to argue against, to be like, ha, look at you guys. And they're like, ha, look at you not making money while we do. It's like, okay, PlayStation, calm down. So yeah, wireless speakers. I laughed at it. I was like, well, I'm not touching these with a 10-foot pole, but there are people out there who no doubt will. So PS Plus got some announcements for that. The games of the month: Alan Wake 2, Goat Simulator 3, Cocoon. Pretty good lineup there. The Last of Us Part 2 is coming to the game catalog with the remastered version, so you can check that out as well. As for the classic editions, Tekken 3, Soul Calibur 3, so some good fighting games in there, and Tomb Raider Anniversary is being dropped in there. So yeah, decent additions to the PS Plus lineup, with Alan Wake 2, of course, being the clear headliner there. That's a really good get, especially given it's like kind of horror-esque. Putting that in October is a cool pick. Gran Turismo showed up with the Spec 3 update. It's coming December 2025. Definitely thought it was going to be GT8. I'll be honest. I thought that was going to be GT8, but they're adding some new content to the game. 8 new vehicles, new tracks. Looks solid, looks really in-depth. I'm not like a big racer guy unless you're like a Sonic racing style game, so pardon my casualness here. But yeah, they showed that for the update. I thought we were going to get something with God of War because they went God of War 20th anniversary controller. And I went, here it is finally, after years of hearing about this like 2.5D God of War style game, or hearing about this next chapter in God of War. Finally, we're going to get it. It's just a controller. It's like, okay, clearly something was delayed out of this showcase. That would be my guess. So then that's where I go, oh boy, you got to end this strong. You see the PlayStation Studios logo again. I'm like, oh, here we go. Boom. It's God of War time. Wrong. It's Wolverine time. This trailer, this whole showcase definitely felt like there were things pulled out of it last minute. Nonetheless, Wolverine coming fall 2026. They're announcing more spring next year. Look, man, pass the eye test for me. Like, I love Wolverine. I love the movies. I love a lot of the comic books I read. Like, I was reading this 03 run a couple months back and just kicks so much ass. It's so good. Like, I just adore this character. And he's in that kind of echelon for Spider-Man with me. And so, yeah, like, Insomniac felt like a perfect home for him. It's just how brutal would they make it? And my God, have they ever made it brutal? Obviously, there's still a lot to be seen, right? Let's be fair about this. There's been a lot of leaks, not a lot of great rumors, a lot of staff exits, which is very unlike the Insomniac of late, who's been ironclad. So, without getting too ahead of myself, I do want to see a little bit more this spring to fully staple in, like, I'm hyped to the high heavens. However, as someone who's played like every X-Men game and knows that the lineage of X-Men game is frankly kind of mid for the most part, like, go watch our Remembering the X-Men games video on Retro Rebound. I have a lot of love for them because of nostalgia, like X-Men Next Dimension, X-Men Destiny. Like, there are these weird, quirky X-Men games. Even this one right here in Origin Wolverines. Like, it's an amazing game, but it's also a movie tie-in game. There's X2 Wolverine's Revenge. There's some really 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10 best X-Men games. And really the best Wolverine experiences outside of Origins are found in like tie-ins, like, oh, he's in Marvel Ultimate Alliance. You know, it's by association. So for me, when I heard Insomniac go, we're trying to make the best Wolverine game ever, I'm like, that's not a hard hill to climb. However, making one of the best Marvel games ever would be like a real statement. And I hope they can shoot for that. Again, it really reminded me of Origins Wolverine, which is just all types of brutal, like sticking dudes' heads in a helicopter. And when I saw like pushing the claws up through the jaw and like the face like popping out a little bit, and all the detail that next gen technology would afford you to basically push what Origins Wolverine was doing, but times like 50. Yeah, like they got it. They at least got the feel on combat. No doubt about it. It's really going to be about the story. There's, of course, the leak that there were multiple playable characters. Seeing that. How open world is it, if at all? Like, we see one part where Logan's like sliding down and jumping from roof to roof. So how is the traversal in this game compared to Spider-Man? Like, there's still a lot of questions to answer, but dude, wow, I am excited for this one. So fall next year, finally the wait is over. We'll see how things go starting spring next year. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, those are my thoughts on this recent state of play. Fire away down below. What are you thinking about this one? Other than that, take excellent care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next one. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.